Morning, I'm uplifted by your music. I love Rag and Bone Man. I
He's good, isn't he?
identify with him.
Rag and Bones.
Yeah,
Good morning, Bill. How are you doing?
fine, thanks. I went on the Bridge Meadow last night, second time this week in glorious weather. Yeah, very nice. Good, thanks, Tom. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. All the better for having this little catch up. Of course, I was off last week, and we didn't get the chance to preview the sport and see what was going on around Pembrokeshire. But we're here now, and you've mentioned twice at the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium. Why were you there, Bill?
Well, Tuesday night was the second Division Cup final between Herbranston and Milford United. 10-hole game, nip and tuck. It was 2-1 to Herbranston. 2-1 to Milford United with 2 minutes to go. And all of a sudden, a popped Herbie defender, Daniel Armstrong, tucked the ball home, 2-2 extra time. And the pendulum swung. Milford United had been favourites for much of the game. The pendulum swung, and in extra time, the hero was teenager Callum Stannard for Herbie, who scored a cracking goal, 3-2. The cup goes there. And on Monday night, we'll be talking to Stuart McDonald, who's the manager of Herbranston, and he's got a lot to say. It's good. We'll also be talking on the same night, staying at the Bridge Meadow with Matthew Brown, who's the Clarbesson Road seconds manager. They were playing in the third Division Cup on Thursday night. Then Mrs. Khan gave me 2 passes to go out this week, not just one, and they beat Goodwick United. And Goodwick United, Tom, Thursday night, last night, were hot favourites to win. Really, they'd won 5-1 and a 3-1 in the league.
Wow.
It was very evident from the start. They lost Wayne O'Sullivan Goodwick very early on. Chris O'Sullivan played till half-time, exerted an influence. But the big threat came from Clarbesson Road striker. You'll have to excuse me a second. Richard Bevan, who's played a lot for the first team, and Matthew Ellis in midfield. And they gradually got on top. And you have to say, the better side one, Richard Bevan, could have had a hat-trick, could have had 4. He actually scored the only goal of the game. And Matthew Brown, I've never seen anything like it, Tom. He was on the touchline when they were taking a photograph with the cup under the posts. And he sprinted along there. He's been there 23 years, so that makes him about 45. He sprinted right around, dived in front of the team before the photograph could be taken. They took the photograph, and then the players mobbed him. And it proves the point, Tom. It doesn't matter if you're playing in the European Cup final and win it, or you're playing in the third Division Cup in Pembrokeshire. It means so much to you because it's the pinnacle of your play for that year. So I enjoyed that moment, and I interviewed Matthew afterwards once he got his breath and rubbed his shoulder a bit, and he's on the show on Monday night as well.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic that the leagues have these different divisional cups as well to give something else to play for. Because midway through the season, if you're going to be contending for promotion or if you're fighting relegation, but if you're a team that's not in that either battle, it's nice to have something else to focus and to keep you driven. And I've seen some of those images from last night. As you say, it doesn't matter what division you're in, winning something, particularly at the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium, is something like that, a little bit extra special, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's the last game at Bridge Meadow Stadium, or the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium this year. On Monday next week starts the sort of putting the pitch to bed and regenerating it. Jonathan Boot, which is a company from Tenby, will come in. They slice the pitch. It's fabulous to watch. And then they've got, I think it's called a verted drain, where they come along. The sand has gone into the holes they've sliced, and then it's like an automatic seed feeder, so that the whole pitch gets reseeded as well. So well done to the people down at Bridge Meadow, like Kevin Haldane and Kevin Craig, who look after the pitch, and all the support workers like Alan Thomas and Eddie Bunston, for the way they've managed to keep things ticking over there. Cracking place to go, as you know, Tom. And I've had 2 nice evenings this week.
Oh, it's a brilliant facility, and in fact, someone else from the back room of the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium, Wyndham Williams, the community development manager, is joining me in about just under an hour's time to talk about his fundraising efforts for Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. So he's coming on to draw the raffle live on air. So keep listening.
Yeah, good for them. That's nice. It's a great charity.
Great charity. And so we've gone back in time. What is there? In fact, there was something else that kicked off on Monday evening, wasn't there, Bill?
You'll have to tell me about that then. Surprise me.
Cricket.
Well, yeah, it was actually on Sunday that it took place.
Sunday, you think?
But you're right, because as well as that, there's 2 lots of cricket went on this week. the rain held. Well, the teams in the first and second division did well to play most of the games last Sunday, but on Monday, then the ladies started to play as well. And I'm delighted to tell you, Tom, there's 11 teams this year. Sam, who looks after the ladies' cricket, is doing a great job with that. And she was able to tell me 11 teams split into 2 divisions. And they're starting the first half of the season on the paired cricket. Do you know what that is, Tom?
I don't know what that is. No, what's that?
Well, it started with juniors. It's a good idea to make sure that everyone gets a chance. You form pairs and you bat as a pair for 4 overs, or you bowl as a pair for 4 overs. And then you start with a score of 200. And every time you score runs, it's added on. Every time you give away your wicket, you lose runs from that. I think it's 6 or 10. I'm not sure with the ladies. But it means you're encouraged to bat correctly and bowl tightly. And everyone gets the chance. Otherwise, someone could stay in the whole innings, couldn't they? So it works well. Yes. And there were some exciting games. And it was nice to see that all the games went ahead, 5 games. And Sam was telling me the enthusiasm is really high. There's some new teams in. Carew are back in after a very, they don't think they've been there before. Hooker back after a gap last year when they'd always been one of the top sides. So there's a great deal of excitement. And if you wanted a little preview for this weekend's cricket, Tom, there's some cracking games. Top in the first division has to be Cresselly versus Carew. A mile down the road or up the hill, as they call it, and a real rivalry. It is fierce. And in the second division is Hook against Burton. And that's another one where they, 2 villages situated just a short distance apart down the road or up the road. And there'll be good games. So I'll be covering all that tomorrow. So there's plenty of work there. And of course, Fantastic. There's another occasion tomorrow as well.
Take it away, Bill.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, what's happening tomorrow, Bill?
Well,
I'm excited for this one.
I mean, have you ever heard of the term? I hadn't heard it for a long time. We talked about it the week before last. White collar boxing. It's on the Withybush Showground.
Yes, I was vaguely familiar with the concept because I think a friend of mine in London has taken part in it, which I only realised after talking to you and being on the sports show and hearing about it. But it's quite an event that's happening tomorrow, isn't it?
It's a huge event. There's 12 bouts on at the Withybush Showground, organised by Wayne and Chris O'Sullivan, who were involved in the football last night. They're both very heavily involved. They've both been Welsh boxing champions. And the idea is it gives a chance for people who've never boxed. They could be any age as long as they're past fit. Say any age. It couldn't be my age, but up to a reasonable age. And it's their first ever bout. They've gone through a training regime at the gym in S7. They've been doing lots of practice with sparring and pad work and glove work and skipping, all the things that boxers do. And they take 12 bouts. It's virtually a competition between a gym in Carmarthen that does that against S7, Chris O'Sullivan's gym in Haverfordwest. Outstanding facilities there. So that's taking place. I'm going to see that. The only slight problem between you and I, Tom, there's a thematic approach to it, and I'm not a big one, as you can tell, for dressing up. And it's Peaky Blinders. Now, I've never seen blinking Peaky Blinders, nor do I ever wish to. But you have to dress like some, apparently it's silly hats time. So I've had special exemption from Chris O'Sullivan because I'm not wearing a blinking hat or dressing like some people off the television. That's old age.
That's old age. That's what that does to you. And if you want to know more about the white collar boxing, Bill actually caught up with Natalie Walsh a couple of weeks ago for the Pure Sports Show. And if you go to purewestradio.com and go back to the sports show from the 18th of April, you'll be able to listen in and find out what Natalie had to say about it. She is one of the competitors, which is very cool.
Yeah. Could I very briefly say as well, on the show on Monday, I've got those 2 interviews, but we're also going to be talking in depth, I suspect, about the big rugby match next Wednesday night, which is a knockout cup final at last. We've got 2 finalists. They are Crymych and Aberystwyth, which I find a little funny in the Premiership Cup, but they've been there all these years and have won it several times. And that's taking place in Haverfordwest Rugby Club on Wednesday night under the lights there. So that's a game to watch. And on tomorrow, Saturday, there's also a chance for people to go and support, if you're from Narberth. 4 busloads are going to Parc y Scarlets, Tom.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, because Narberth Seconds have reached the cup. It's called a Llanelli West Wales Cup. They play in Felin Vole Seconds in the final. Two very good sides, and they've got a good second team as well as a good first team. 4 busloads going, they're all full, and they'll be heading east to Parc Scarlets tomorrow afternoon. So good luck to the Otters. Bill Ridge is like a mother hen as a team manager, and he's been telling me all week, you must give it publicity. So there we are, we've given it a mention.
There we go. We've given it a big mention. Bill, thank you so much for your time here this morning. It's coming up to 7:30. I think that we've covered quite an array there, and it will be covered in depth on Monday evening on the Pure West Sports Show, 7 till 9, including those interviews that Bill's mentioned that he's collected and will be collecting. Bill, until next week, and until we chat later on, let's be honest, have a great Friday and weekend.
And you and everybody else have a good sporting weekend. That would be great.
And of course, it is Feel Good Friday. Wouldn't be the same without a song request. What have you gone for, Bill?
Well, it's no secret I'm from Tree Forest, which is a mile outside Pontypridd, small village. I went to the same junior school as a gentleman called Tom Jones, who was there 7 years before me. So I thought it'd be nice to have a bit of Tom.
Whatever happened to your old school friend, Tom Jones? I just don't know. Bill, have a great day.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.